The BMR low-profile jacking rails that we have here are one of the most popular options available for the 2015 and newer fastback owners looking to add an easy-to-install jacking point and one that's also going to add a little bit more chassis strength in the process. Now, materials will consist of a laser-cut 1x2 box steel along with the black Hammertone powder coat and corresponding 2-year warranty, offer right around that mid to high $100 price point. So jacking rails are one of those parts that's not going to make your ride faster or look better, but rather it's going to be a convenience addition. And what I mean by that is in stock form, the pinch weld is only really suitable for jacking in 2 smaller locations, one in the front and one in the rear. And while that might seem fine for most, the reality is putting a jack or a lift arm underneath these designated areas repeatedly can mess up the side skirt and the pinch weld itself. Furthermore, if you did want to swap wheels, well, you'd first have to jack up the front, then the rear, which again isn't a huge deal. We've all done it, but that's where the jacking rails come into play. Now, once installed, these guys essentially turn that entire pinch weld into one enormous jacking area. Now, front and rear spots are obviously easy to hit, but on top of that, you can also get the jack right in the middle here and get both wheels up off the ground on one side of the car and do so without damaging that weld or the bottom portion of your side skirt. Now, both driver and passenger side rails from BMR are made from tough, laser-cut 1x2-inch box steel tubing, which is going to bolt to the underside of the car using factory hardware and basically bolster the entire length of that pinch weld while giving you plenty of real estate to put your jack or your lift arm at any given time. Now, because of how these mount and because of how they secure to the chassis, they're also going to increase the structural rigidity similar to what you might find with a subframe connector on those older Mustangs. Now, as you can see, these particular options are finished off in one of 2 signature BMR powder coats, this one being the black Hammertone, but BMR Red is also available as well for a very similar price point. Now, one thing to point out here, guys, is that these are only designed to work with the fastback S550s out there and are not compatible with the convertibles at this time because, if you didn't know, those verts do have some extra bracing that will interfere with where these guys will live. But now we want to show you just how easy it is to get these guys in place, and again, no drilling, welding, or permanent modification needed. So therefore, site's going to call this a pretty solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour from start to finish to get everything in place. But to give you a better idea of just how and where these guys go, here's an AM customer to walk you through it.
We have our tools here. We have our jacks. We have our jack stand. That's all you need tool-wise. This is what I'll be using for this. I'll be using a 1/2-inch drive breaker bar, including with a 15mm 1/2-inch and a 1-inch extension, just to break the bolt loose. Then we're going to transition over to the 3/8 ratcheting wrench.
Okay, guys and gals, this is just the start of things. You can see the bolts that we're going to be disconnecting. But we need some height on this car. So what I like to do, I like to go on the main frame rail right here, just to jack it up so I don't ruin this lip right here, which is the reason why we're installing these jacking rails. Now from here, get yourself your jack outside of the scope of your work. That looks good to me, so let's lower it down. We're gonna do the same process on this one as we just did the front. And note, if you're actually underneath the car, wear eye protection. We all know that was pretty simple, so let's grab the rail and let's just reverse that job. You see two smaller holes. Just make sure the smaller holes go towards the front of the car. Put this in place. Get a bolt. Snake through. You can hold onto the rail and just kind of slide to the opposite end. Put it in by hand first. Now we're going to start tightening. Now to go snug, you want to make sure that all sides or all four bolts are touching before you actually tighten it down completely. So in this case, I'm just going to do one. Just give it just a little bit, snug it up, and do the additional bolts. Go back to my 1/2 inch as I mentioned in the beginning, just to give it a little tug. Okay, we're gonna go to the center of the car. See if we can pull all the jack out from the front. Angle it the way you want. And jack it up. Pull out that jack. And let it drop, guys.
So if you are looking to add some jacking convenience while also bolstering the chassis at the same time, well then the low profile jacking rails from BMR would be an awesome choice, and you can grab yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.